When you're adapting a story to a different form of media, there are 3 different ways of doing it. You can follow the original script exactly to satisfy the purists, you can follow the general plot with slight changes, or you can completely forget what the original story was about and just take the name of the characters. Today I'll be talking about a story that chooses option number 3, Magi the Labyrinth of Magic, a tale that steals half the character names from within the Arabian Nights, along with a couple of objects like the lamp and the flying carpet, but other than that has absolutely nothing to do with it. Magi follows the tale of the great chibi mage Aladdin in his voyages across what is essentially an alternate version of the ancient world. In his travels he gains the companionship of an illegitimate prince, Ali Baba, a former slave, Morgiana, and also comes across a mysterious evil organization called Al-Sarman. Al-Sarman wants to summon an evil god to destroy the world. But, like so many evil organizations, its reasons are somewhat unclear. I guess some people really get a kick out of the whole destroying the world thing, but I really fail to see the appeal, especially since it's rather likely that they'll end up dying when the whole world goes up in flames. Anyways, since our heroes aren't particularly keen on watching the apocalypse, it's up to them to defeat Al-Sarman. Like most long-running shonen series, Magi has an impressively large cast of characters, but I'll just be focusing on the 3 most important ones. First of all, we have Aladdin the Chibi. He starts out the series at about 10 years old, but like most young protagonists in Manga, he doesn't act his age. Probably a good thing, otherwise he would be really annoying. As it is, he's surprisingly mature, in both wisdom and interests. He's also rather talented at magic, and while generally relying on a 10-year-old to save the world is never an ideal proposition, Aladdin's actually a reasonable choice for it. Next up is Ali Baba. Whereas Aladdin is an idealist, Ali Baba is much more pragmatic, and has little problem being slightly dishonest if it has a net benefit. He has a good heart though, and can generally be relied upon to be heroic in a pinch, or as I prefer to call it, beneficially insane. Seriously though, who in their right mind would attack the sand dune monster from Star Wars without any weapons? Anyways, unlike Aladdin, he doesn't start out overpowered, but rather gains powers-ups as the series progresses. He'd actually be pretty cool, but the author generally seems to like to use him as a comic relief character rather too often. Lastly, we have Morgiana. Initially, she's rather cold and emotionless, but as the series progresses, she opens up significantly and begins to develop a thing for Ali Baba. She also happens to belong to a race called the Finales, which is this series' equivalent of a Kryptonian. No lasers or flying eyes though, just insane strength. It's fair to say that she's one of the better female leads I've seen in quite a while. Magi has pretty much everything a good shonen series should have. An interesting world, likable characters, and a well-written story of course, with exciting action scenes. The world in particular deserves special note. The great empires that rule the lands, Ku, Reem, and Sindria, are all essentially ancient China, Rome, and India respectively, and a number of the other smaller kingdoms also steal from various ancient cultures. For someone like me who's quite interested in ancient history, seeing ancient cultures placed within a magical world is quite cool. The problem I have with it though, is that other than the world, not much of it is particularly remarkable. The story, while amusing, isn't exactly original. The characters, while likable, aren't all that interesting. And the action scenes are no better or worse than anything you'd see in Fairy Tail, One Piece, or Naruto. Also, I take major issue with the decision the author made at one point in the series to have the 3 main characters split up for a while, and then only show what happened to one of them during that time. It feels incredibly lazy on the part of the author, and besides the point, it left my curiosity unsatisfied. I wanted to know what happened to the other 2 during that time, god damn it! A minor quibble, I know, but that section really bugged me. Magi is pretty solid as shonen manga goes, but it lacks anything that could make it a truly great series. If you already enjoy stuff like the Big 3 and Fairy Tail, this is another series that you'll probably enjoy as well. But I can't see this series really converting any fans from outside the genre. Overall, I give Magi a 7.7 out of 10 for writing quality, and also an 8 for my own personal enjoyment. If you're already reading this series and are looking for something similar, I'd recommend Mahou Sensei Negima, another high fantasy series with a ridiculously young main protagonist. It has a bit more of a ecchi harem focus at the beginning, but becomes much more similar to Magi as it progresses. Anyways, thanks for listening. Cheers!